Dr. Loving with the Union, here talking with the Union founder, Tommy Sheehan, about the company in general. Why did you start the Union?
Well, I started the union, to be honest, out of being pissed, right? So it was, I was literally right where we grew up in the south side of Chicago. My mother had passed, so I was up there. And if anybody knows anything about the south side of Chicago, it's not exactly, it's not Manhattan, right? So it's normal folks that have normal jobs that a lot of family owned, a lot of storefronts, a lot of pickup, takeout places, things like that.
That's right. Yep.
And so I was up there when my mother passed, and within 3 weeks of being up there, the pandemic hit. So Chicago was unlike Texas, basically shut down everything. So all these folks that I grew up with that owned these types of businesses were told they could not work. And if they didn't have any digital solutions, they literally closed their stores. There was no alternative. They had no delivery or pickup or any of those things. They never had to historically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was crazy, right?
Yeah.
Right. And to be blunt, it makes you mad, right? Because
Yeah, because you see the people who don't operate in the neighborhood way, they're still doing what they do.
Yeah.
But the person who's had the sandwich shop here where you've been getting a hoagie or, getting a sub or getting more likely in Chicago an Italian beef for a long time, and now he's out of business. And not only do you miss the food, but you miss the interaction, right? So it's not just a business decision. Business doesn't necessarily get you pissed. It's when you start to see what happens to the people that you care about. That's an interesting thing. That's how the union ends up coming about. Now, it seems like when you look at the structure of the union and especially the app, it seems like at the beginning of it, it's very, or at least it seems like there's a lot of information that you have to give. Not a lot of different things, but it's like, man, this is a thorough thing for the business owner side, and for everybody, I guess, to know who everybody is. Why was that so important to you in terms of how you created the technology and the security around it?
all right, well, so there's two major reasons. One of them is a lecture, and the other one is a principle. The lecture part of it is to suggest that the world needs to stop letting tech marketplaces disintermediate value. So you don't know who you're buying from, and all of those things, because you don't know, is why all the fees are exorbitant. Lots of fraud, lots of identity theft, all these background data services, all these techniques are created to take advantage of people who don't understand technology. We wanted to not have any of that on the platform because we didn't think that small businesses could survive given all of these additional fees. And by the way, all these businesses found out that. That's why when they were stuck to just go 100% delivery, they were incapable of actually making profits because the costs were too high.
Yeah.
So we thought, look, neighborhoods work on trust. The app has to work on trust. So if you look at that, you just go, okay, everybody must be on the system as a trusted actor. And if you go down that route, then I will own the risk, meaning Union will own the risk. So I'm the merchant of record. I'm the bank. I'm the one who's responsible for those transactions. So you're basically giving me your bank information that I'm going to JP Morgan Chase. JP Morgan Chase is basically saying that's a legitimate bank. Stripe is the payment gateway. So Stripe gets that payment. They do an authorization check through the back-end services of JP Morgan Chase. They have that data. I have none of it. They say yes or no, and the transaction goes through. And then we move the money from JP Morgan Chase to whatever your bank is.
Yeah.
And so the trusted part of it is to make that as transparent and as simple as possible. So we're not partnered with Joe's Credit Union or Sally's, bank store. We're using the biggest bank in the world with one of the biggest payment processing companies in the world at the best rates and bringing all of that to us, and then we're holding those responsibilities so that small businesses can all benefit from no fees.
Nice. So small business is benefiting from no fees, absorption of risk. Why would you bring in a guy with a PhD who teaches finance at a local university to talk and work with your company on educational videos and these types of things? What made you make that decision?
Well, ultimately, it's because we need to communicate to normal, everyday people the importance of money.
Okay.
Right? Selling people, if we wanted to sell people, we would be selling the same way that you sell a car, right? When you go, oh, the car is $179 a month, right? Like my 16-year-old daughter came up to me once and said, and I had to explain to her, no, the car costs $17,000, and by the time you're done paying for it, it's $21,000, and the second you took it off the lot, that car was already worth 20% less, right? We don't selling finance versus understanding finance are two different principles, right? I'm not interested in our entire business is not interested in using finance as a tool to take advantage of people. We're using finance as a tool to educate people because we have the best solution.
Yeah, and see, that's funny because the interesting thing is, and that's why I asked you why you chose me, and that's why I chose you. Because everything that I do boils down to a simple thing, and if either it fits in my silo or it doesn't, right? All I'm about is taking the complex financial world and making it simple enough for the average everyday person to take advantage of it. And so then I meet a person from the south side of Chicago who also has a piece of technology designed to actually take the complex financial world and put it in the palm of the hand of a business owner. I was like, this almost feels like it couldn't be real, but it is, right? And so I'm excited to be a part of helping to teach the application of finance on a personal and business level using the YOUnion platform in a way that's just completely consistent with me not just feeling like, oh, I'm doing an adequate or okay job. I can actually go in and feel excited about new content we're creating, new relationships we're building, things that we're doing because I believe in what we're doing, because I believe in people, and I see that if we give them the tools and we give them these opportunities, they're going to take advantage of it, and they're going to run with it in ways that are going to make the neighborhoods that we come from better places to live. The people we care about are going to have more opportunities, and they are going to succeed in ways that they hadn't in the past. And when you go on vacation, you're going to have some people who can afford to come up there with you.
Amen. I mean, it's all, I mean, look, this whole company, everybody in this business has a reason for it.
Yeah.
But one of the best reasons for it is what you just said, which is we're very transparent, it's out there, it works, use it. If you don't like it, don't. Right? But if you use it, there's no risk. You can continue to do your business as always.
Sure.
Make this available to your customers, and the proof will be in the pudding. You don't have to listen to me or you or anybody, right?
That's true.
So it is what it is. I mean, it's sort of, I think that it's everybody, nobody likes to get sold, and we're all tired of being bullshitted.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that's probably the most honest answer I can have.
That's true.
And I'm no different than that. So if you had, I like to ask this question, which is if you had the cure for cancer, how do you tell people you have the cure for cancer? Because they ain't going to believe you if you say you have the cure for cancer, right? So I've basically tried every technique I know how to, because ultimately the goal of the business, as you know, is to get people that need to use it because it'll benefit them.
Yeah.
So it's like without pleading,
Right.
You're getting up and jumping up and down. You're like,
Yeah, and it's funny because frustration can be weird when you start thinking about something that you know is going to. I know for a fact this works. I know for a fact if you work it, it will work for you.
Right.
What I don't know, we don't know about you guys who are choosing is what it is you're gonna do, or if you're going to do anything at all. We know some people are, but you specifically, the one I'm talking to right now, we don't know if you're gonna do it. That's the interest. I try to talk to people, and I'm always saying people are more important than things, but I'm always trying to reach in almost through the screen and talk to you, the one that's looking at this and like, oh, well, it's all reasonable. This makes sense. I should do this. And then you don't do anything. And I feel like for me, the most frustrating thing is having and watching people, and this is even as a professor, having them know better and having the aptitude, all the ability in the world, and then the tools in front of them, and then they don't take advantage of it, or they don't try, or they don't use it, and it seems like an incredible, horrible waste. So I thank you for at least trying to put, like, here, I'm gonna put every sign over here so you can use all of the different ways to show you this is what you can get out of this is what you can do, and all the rest of this. But I think it's great that you're willing to do that. But I also feel like what's going to happen the same way that things tend to happen. You remember record labels in the 90s? Of course you do, right? You remember when the first like independent deals where Jay-Z did his independent deal, and they were like, he sold 300,000 records, but he made more than the guy that sold 19 million records. And it's like, wait a minute, how's the math work, right? And people don't care as much about how the math works as, oh, wait, that opportunity was there, right? Diddy and his label, Master P and his label, and then countless other labels that came after that.
Our slogan should just be, we make you more money.
Yeah.
We don't make a bad business good. We make good businesses more money.
Yeah.
Or real businesses more money. However, like, but without the myth of saying that if we can't take a failed business, like if you make a shitty hot dog, you're screwed.
Yeah,
right? Nobody's gonna eat your bad hot dog.
Yeah. It'll be like more people that know that your hot dog is bad too. Like this, now you have a famously bad hot dog. Your place is terrible, right?
Right.
So, but if you make good stuff, and that's the funny thing, the cool thing about a lot of local businesses, especially those ones that you know how you gotta go and put your money under the little thing, and then they like turn the little cylinder around with the most delicious rib tips that you've ever tasted in your life, and you pull them out and you start eating them in the car, right? Like those businesses are the ones where I wish I could have called. I mean, didn't have to call and then wait, because the person that's calling, she could be helping make food and get stuff out, but no, because she's got to answer the phone. Wait a minute, I could order and then just go pick it up. I don't have to stand longer. I can think about so many ways that I selfishly want everybody to adapt these things, so that when I go home and I do the stuff that I do, I can be more comfortable, but also they're going to be more comfortable. They're going to be more successful. And most business owners like the idea of making more money. They're usually pretty cool about that.
Yeah, especially if you're helping them do it up front, right?
Yeah. It's not one of those things where you have to wonder about anything.
No, I mean, it really is. If you just count your dollars instead of the promises, we'll win.
Yeah. Count your dollars. Don't count promises. Yeah, I love that. All right, well, thank you so much for discussing with us some of the foundational elements that went into the union and why it was created, and the people that you brought in, and the questions that you asked. And I think it's one of the things that's going to make people understand how authentic we are and what it is that we want for these business owners and for their customers too, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I want a good sandwich.
Right, right. I want a good sandwich, and guess what? If I can also, within that, make a nice direction of where my fees go. Nobody else lets you decide where you get to give. Gifts. I mean, they can say, "Oh, well, do you want to make a gift or not?" But nobody else lets you say, "Oh, okay, this is your charity you like." You pick it, and you can decide. That there's a lot of customer choice, there's a lot of business choice, and then there's a lot of organizational and helpful just elements that make things nicer and easier for people to live their lives. Folks could go on vacation because now they can set things up so that they can run their business from their phone and actually go on a trip with their families.
You get to take control of your life. You get to, I mean, the smart or the cocky way is, how many times has Amazon sponsored a music program? How many times has Grubhub sponsored a Little League team? How many of these folks have actually put money back into the community to fix a pothole?
Right.
And for all the money that we spend, they don't help the local community. But the local community needs help. They needed help before the pandemic. So the pandemic just made it that much more visible.
Right.
And now it's sort of cool. Everybody sort of wants to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So all these people are talking about it, but historically, when they're talking about it, they're exploiting it. They're not solving for it. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So to me, that's why it's just pay attention to the money.
Perfect way to close. Thank you so much, Tommy Shin. I'm Dr. Loving. We appreciate you and thank you for listening. And always remember, people are more important than things.